up, man. Tuning in to Savage Productions.
Let's go.
Myself, they call me Sevlo. Kill this beat, shoot it up like Twisted Meadow. It's incredible, killers will spit the metaphor. Aiming for a fitted cap and quick to let the metal blow. I'm a East Side baby. In the middle with the projects, the East Side raised me. Going crazy on the daily, they say nothing could save me. But I'm a ride to the casket, close.
Grumpy, you know Grumpy? Hey, if you see Grumpy, you know him, bro. He passes through, tell him Sev food up over here. Okay, gracias.
There's some things I gotta ask.
What's up? Mahai salute. You know where you at? You at Savage Sevs. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Let's get to this video. But before I start it, I want to make sure everybody know I'm not promoting gang life, gang culture. I'm just telling a testimony, giving life experiences, shining some light on the Denver Metro. So with that being said, let's get to this video. So I got some news. One of my good partners that I got close with, bro, he's not doing too well. He's back in the penitentiary, but his health is not the best. And it's crazy because he got out, right, on a blessing. And homie just was doing good at first, bro, but then I don't know what the situation was. He went back on a new case, violated his parole, and that was kind of his chance because he really has a lot of time left where he might not ever get out again. And somebody just had gave me the news that his health is not of the best. I looked him up on MA Locator, and he doesn't look too good. But it's crazy because a lot of people that are doing a lot of time, they just kind of give up, right? And they start dabbling in, drugs in there, and a lot of sicknesses going around. And sometimes people be using the same syringes. So hepatitis C is just falling victim to prison, especially when you don't really have an out day and you're not looking to go home. People cope with their time in many different ways. So it's wild, homie. When I first fell, I remember being saddled with an older GKI fool, right? And this fool had, a lot of pull and respect from the G's. And it's wild, too, because of who my uncles are and relatives. A lot of times, the G's would show me love just because of my last name and who the family is. So long story short, I sat with this older GKI fool that knew my uncles, and he showed me major love, And I'm going to be real with you. When I first, started doing time and I hit the prison yard, I was kind of like depressed because I got a new chunk of time. And to lifers, that's short timing. But to me, being young, that was a lot of time to me, 10 years. And there was a couple of individuals that already had been doing time that kind of, lifted my spirit and brought me back from the dead. Because when I first fell, I was, messed up my time. I just thought I would never get out. So I sat up with the older G, and I'm not going to say names or nothing, but he showed me a lot of love, homie. And if you recall, and you know anything about Denver or anything, the G's had been indicted, bro, in the early 2000s. They got indicted for some cases, and there was a lot of stuff going on with their car. So, everybody knows when a car gets indicted or a hood gets indicted, a lot of stuff comes out the closet. So they were dealing with a lot of stuff. And I remember my Sally, that fool had a lot of cleaning up to do, and he was, he was stressing, but he had a lot of pull with them fools. So, a lot of fools were coming through back and forth, and there was a lot of youngsters at the time. At that time, they had a lot of youngsters, and you would hear, that fool is no good and this and that. So I remember the first time I came across the homie that's, not doing good health wise. I noticed him right off the top. He was a big old native fool, and he had the demeanor of just a rider. But there's one thing about, the G's and their demeanors. If they're from Denver, they got just this stilo. And he didn't really have that stilo because he was not from Denver. He had more of a swag, like you could tell he chilled with some lokes, right? But when he got to that yard, he started connecting with them fools off of, just knowing some of them fools. And I promise you, most likely he was going to get put on the G. He was kind of like they were filling him out. But he was a hothead, homie. Like this fool beating fools up. Like, and he was a big kid, homie. He had mitts. This fool's hands were big. And he had one-hitter quitters, bro. He was doing his thing. And I remember first time coming in contact with that fool, he wanted to set it off with some fools in the unit. We all used to be in the same unit, but different pods. And he was the first individual that wanted to set it off. I can remember hearing that fool talking to his homies at the time, and he's like, "Yeah, let's just set it off." He was just one of them fools front liner. So some time passes by, and you could tell them fools were having some disputes. And I don't know, the day that this happened, I remember my Sally, the OG fool, and that fool having words because he didn't want to follow directions or something. And my Sally was pissed. And me and my Sally, we had a good relationship, bro. Like we were already had salved up for a minute. And I remember coming back from GED, and my Sally says, "Hey, if I go to the hole, can you make sure they get my property and don't let nobody come take my stuff?" So I was like, "Yeah, for sure." And we're going to night chow hall. We're going to dinner. And the way they do it, they call your building and then they call your pods, and we all go at the same time. But they let your pod out first, and then the middle pod, and then that pod. And we all walk to the chow hall together. And my Sally, he took his dirties, his gloves, and he got his jacket. And I remember he was walking he met up with a couple of his homies, and they started walking, and they're kind of in front of me, and they're walking. And me and my other partner from the east side, we're over here, like behind them. And I remember that youngster, I caught him, and he was walking fast, like trying to catch up to my Sally. And he turned around, and my Sally started trying to talk and not make a big old scene. But that fool, that little youngster, teed off on him. Bink, bink, and dropped him. And when I mean dropped him, it was fast, bro. This fool put that fool on his pockets. And his homie that he was with, he didn't even try to really help. And that youngster started hitting that fool when he was on the ground. That's where he kind of messed up with them fools. And I think that's why he didn't get put on their neighborhood. Well, they go to the hole. The guards rush him, and they go to the hole. And that's the biggest talk at the moment. The OG fool from G's got knocked out by a youngster. So they were pissed. And there was a rumor that they put a green light out on him for doing that. Well, he gets out, and I don't know their business, but they send some little fools to try to take that fool and beat that fool up or whatever. But he gets the best of them. So he's just kind of like, they don't really want to see him with hands. Like I guess he's just one of them dudes that just, knows how to fight, and he's kind of getting the best of his fights. While they eventually, down the road, homie, like this lasted for a minute, they eventually kind of just was like, let him just go his separate way, and they didn't really push the issue, but they said that he couldn't be from, the hood. They said that he couldn't be from the G. And he really didn't have a bad jacket or nothing. So I think that's kind of another reason. He was a good dude at heart. And they kind of just left it alone. But I leave down the road and I start getting these letters that they called him Savage Loke after. They're like, yeah, Savage Loke, he started messing with the Lokes, and he's really up here beating fools up, whooping fools. And then I was like, who is Savage Loke? They were like, you know him. He used to mess with the G's. He goes by this name when he was, when he was messing with them fools, he was going by this name. And I put it 2 and 2 together. I said, oh, hell nah. He's messing with the Lokes now, and he got quoted to a neighborhood. Well, they send the word that he got out. He got out on parole. Long story short, when he gets out, I meet up with this fool, and he's pushing health. This fool's pushing health. He got gang tag. He struck down all the way. Boom, his face. I said, dang, this fool really. And I asked him about that, and he said, yeah, this is what happened. They were kind of like pretty much trying to pull some shots and kind of disrespected him. And, he went out there and had to do what he had to do. And then he started messing with some fools I knew that were Lokes. And he just embraced it because before he even went to the penitentiary, he was already on a reservation messing with Lokes. So it was just like his nature. And then all of a sudden he got out and he was doing good, had a job. This fool was pushing weight. He was building a gym at his house, and he gets hemmed up. I don't even know why he got hemmed up, but he goes back, and somebody said he caught all this time and he ain't getting out ever again. I said, dang, bro, because his focus was good. And then all of a sudden, bro, they said that fool was sick, and sure enough, bro, he's sick, bro. Like his health is not good, and I looked it up, and he just don't look good, But prayers to the homie Savage Loke. It's wild, homie. Prison be doing that to people, You know what it is, Mall High salute. I'm gonna get at y'all. Y'all have a good night.